You have to be careful about making a weird show or watching a weird show.
Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast. Joined today by the unsinkable Giles Edwards. Hello, Giles.
Hello.
We have a very short slate today, so we'll see if we even fill out our full length, our allotted time. But regardless, we will go ahead and announce next week's show. We are going to have a guest, a semi-guest, because it is Alex Kittle, who wrote a lot for the site many years ago and is actually in our book, which the second volume will be coming out soon, but here's the first volume. And she is in that, but she is going to join us specifically to talk about Reanimator, a big, major release of Reanimator by a new Blu-ray releasing company on which she worked, contributing both artwork and an essay. So,
very nice.
So she's now a Reanimator expert whom we can interview. So that will be next week. This week, we're just going to go over 4 movies that I'm going to bring up right now. All new releases. Actually, one of them's even more than a new release. It's a future release as we record this, but we'll get into that in a minute when we discuss it. Our first topic, which is going to be described, this poster by Giles.
All right. Well, we have a figure on this poster, which I'll get to in a moment. But first, I'll describe the background, a kind of dusty, barren wasteland going right up to horizon there. This looks almost photographic, this background, except either, I don't know, some sort of reverse polarization or some odd color coding going on in that this is a sort of a pink and coral dew with some little highlights of purple specks, making an altogether alien style bit of featurelessness, on which is traversing a humanoid. Let me make my little screen here bigger. There we go. A anthropomorphized bird lizard looking thing. Human style feet, hands and arms and legs, but definitely a bird-like head, which I guess say lizard in that this individual is primarily green, however, with some orange highlights. And they are carrying a bindle over their shoulder. They've got a jaunty little traveling cap with a feather sticking out of it. They've got a jug of whatever means I imagine they use for hydration as they traverse this desert area. And let's see. I guess a little either very long shorts or very short capri pants with bold striping up it, and a loose-fitting light jacket to complete the wanderer traveler look that this bird person lizard seems to be capturing as they are heading across this expanse of pink nothing.
Yeah, and it's I will say the although it is a humanoid character, the features are kind of reminiscent of one of those plague masks from the Black Plague.
Yes, the
long beak.
Yeah.
And it is called.
It is called Tall Tales.
And what other information does the poster divulge?
The other information.
That's all the information we have, basically. So.
The information divulges that hopefully you saw this update about it yesterday, as the major special theatrical appearance of this was May 8th as we record this. Has some names. It is the debut collaborative album and visual experience from Mark Pritchard, Thom Yorke, and Johnathan Zawada.
All right. And they have a website where you can visit, which is tall-tales.info. Be sure to include the dash there. I tried to going to talltales.info and boy, that wasn't good. But there was nothing there. But yes, it's playing. It's a visual album playing May 8th, which is tonight. And it is actually playing here in Louisville, but I have other plans tonight and I won't be able to see it. I just found out about this 2 days ago, did not have time to promote it or make plans to go see it. So we do have a trailer for it, which we will link. I will point out Thom Yorke, I think, is very well known as the lead singer of Radiohead. Mark Pritchard, I am not familiar with. Are you familiar with Mark Pritchard, Giles?
Only in as much as I know I read the name before I clicked on the little link you sent me earlier. So
There's
mostly no.
some sort of ambient, I think, electronic musician, as the cut, at least that was featured on the trailer, was ambient and had no vocals for Thom Yorke fans. I don't know if his vocals show up later, but they're not included in the trailer. Johnathan Zawada, also a name unfamiliar to me, but he is an artist who has created all the visuals for this album, which we don't know how long it's going to be, probably around an hour or so. This release is a collaboration between Oscilloscope, who we know from many movies they did. That one that may be relevant here is Once Within a Time, because I think looks like it's having a similar distribution thing where they do a limited theatrical release because it's a niche item, and then later we'll have the probably at least a streaming and VOD release, and probably since it's a oscilloscope, they'll have some physical media too, I would imagine.
And your guess for the length was pretty darn spot on. IMDb informs me an hour and 4 minutes.
Yeah, if you look at the trailer, I'd say it's highly surrealistic. A lot of sort of medieval style imagery, I'd say, and classical imagery. There is some Janus masks and some things that look maybe a little like Stonehenge. There's that plague doctor type being wandering through a desert. Stuff like that. It's all quite surrealistic. There's also some stuff that looks more industrial age and even maybe a little bit modern. I see like a roller coaster, loop-de-loop, some crowns, and there is even most of it is animation style, but there is some black and white live action to it. Any other thoughts from the trailer there, Giles?
No, that captures the trailer. There is a very quick blurb on the main bit of the webpage, which should clarify for those curious. Landscapes of synth pop, prog, dub, 70s synth, Joe Meek, Ivor Cutler, library, kraut, and classic warp. So those are some of the listed inspirations for this.
Yeah, it still doesn't say whether Thom Yorke is going to sing or not, though, which I think would be
No, they are being coy.
something that would be important for fans to know. Further from the website, Tall Tales is a fairy tale for the modern world depicting rising tides, kings and queens, Amazon logistics. I don't think that's the company, but the female warriors, and robotic arms under iridescent skies, and there certainly are iridescent skies.
Oh, yes.
We wanted computers to do our accounting. Instead, they try to paint our pictures and sing our songs. Like all good fairy tales, this work edges light with the dark as Tom's echoed chants intertwine with Mark's shimmering electronics. So chants, perhaps wordless singing, means, I don't know.
Oh, I bet I've frozen.
Giles may be frozen.
Testing.
I can hear you. Your visuals are frozen, though. And there, he moved a little and is frozen again.
No, I can hear you now.
Yes.
And And it gives me my internet connection is on stable notice that at least it's finding it. So,
All right. Well, let's then move on to the next one while you still can. This is a still from a movie.
mhm.
Uh, would you care to describe it?
Yes, these are two middle-aged guys, outdoor shot. I'm going to guess autumnal or maybe winter. They're both wearing puffy kinds of jackets, and it looks like they're just kind of hanging out. One of them has a tall drink with a red straw, and the person he's talking to, it looks like I think he may have picked up a mushroom or toadstool, judging from it. But yeah, so these are just two guys in their, 40s, maybe early 50s and very just sort of friendly kind of feel to the scene, and nothing, nothing standing out in particular other than if well, these are two very famous actors here being normal guys.
Yeah, well, certainly one of them's very famous, and that would be the guy on the right who is,
Paul Rudd.
yeah. And the other guys, famous.
In our circles, I'd say Tim Robinson is a pretty common
Yeah,
name.
people know who Tim Robinson is. He's a, comedian. He has a show on Netflix. Oh gosh, what the name escapes me. I've seen a couple episodes.
I think we've even reviewed it.
And Shane Wilson reviewed it. I cannot for the life of me remember the name. This happens when you get older.
I think you should leave.
I think you should leave with Tim Robinson, yes,
Yeah.
on Netflix, where he does a particularly surreal brand of awkward cringe comedy that's um, definitely in the weird realm, verging on mainstream because a lot of people like it, and it is comedy. This movie is called Friendship. It's getting a wide release from A24, relatively wide release
Hmm.
from A24 in theaters starting this week. It's getting excellent reviews, although I think if you watch the trailer, you'll see the critics seem split over whether it's a side-splitting comedy or a horror film. So
Hey, that augurs well.
definitely a black comedy about Tim Robinson as a awkward middle-aged man trying to make friends with his next door neighbor. And I'm getting the feeling that there may be some daydream type stuff from the trailer, stuff that happens in his head but does not happen in reality, and that he's maybe more of a stalker than a legitimate best friend to the Paul
Hmm.
Rudd character. It's kind of a guess on my part because we have nothing to go by other than the trailer, really. What do you think, Giles?
I mean, yeah, they working just from those whatever 100 seconds or so of trailer. It's definitely yeah, it's nice. Breaking down the first two acts of the trailer are good, bubbly. Everything's going great. Hey, he's got friends, finally at last, and then all of a sudden, bam! There's a visual there's punctuation. Things get awkward, and we don't know whether Paul Rudd's character or Tim Robinson's character is meritus of sympathy, which I suspect is some a tension they'll maintain in the motion picture itself.
Yeah, but like I say, it got 91% positive on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. And Tim Robinson has a fan base that's going to come out, and as long as he does his Tim Robinson thing, people are going to be pleased by
And
it.
everyone loves Paul Rudd, so it's
Yeah, Paul Rudd's kind of hard to. I don't know of anybody who dislikes Paul Rudd.
right. Yeah, that might be a better way to phrase it.
Let me say that. I have nothing against Paul Rudd. So, Paul Rudd, if you want to come on the show,
Oh, well, happy to chat with you.
um, any final thoughts on Friendship? Probably kind of very marginal for weird, but definitely something that people are more likely to see than Tall Tales.
Yeah, it's the kind of risk I'd be happy to take, even if I had no excuse to write about it for 366. Looks solid and interesting.
I imagine I will see it in theaters. Might even take my father, who likes comedy. I don't know if he's going to like Tim Robinson's particular comedy, but
Oh, a good lineup for a nice guest reviewer slot there.
yeah, he loves comedy. So that's Friendship in theaters now very easily available to any of you. Here's one we've discussed before now on Blu-ray. Giles, I don't know that we've seen this exact poster before, so why don't you go to it?
All right. Well, this is one of those. We're going to splat as many of the characters as we possibly can on the poster style posters. And the major characters can be seen looming over a cool, let's see, I'm going to call it a combination cathedral and spaceship that has landed in a, let's see, cow and horse filled field, which among which are standing two sort of middle-aged guys that are familiar forms and faces to followers of this particular director. But in the characters above, looming over this cathedral spaceship crashed thing, is a somewhat crazed-looking guy in a very large bow tie with a center adornment, wearing a stylized shirt with lots of little three-headed people done in simple profile, simple front-on stick figure style. And he's got, I don't know my deep religion enough to know the name of particular type of headgear, but it is anachronistic and futuristic at the same time. On the side of this guy is a young woman, I'm going to guess, wearing a ruff, holding a little flare-out fan, gloves, ring, all lots of religious overtones to their adornments. And then step below, we have much more contemporary day-to-day street, people you might encounter about the town, kind of youngish people. There's a beardo, there's a black-haired chick with a low-cut shirt, there's scruffy guy in A-cut shirt, and semi-wild-haired redhead with necklace and eyeliner archetypes.
Yes, and the only one thing you neglected to mention, probably one of the main features of the black-haired girl in the low-cut.
Oh, yes. She is holding a device that is not dissimilar from a lightsaber.
Yeah, yeah, almost exactly a lightsaber. And this would be,
This would be Bruno Dumont's The Empire.
yes, now on Blu-ray. And if it is not on, I'm going to check real quick. If it's not on VOD now, I would bet it will be very soon. It might be limited to Kino Lorber is distributing it, and they might have limited it to their own personal streaming site. But let me see if I can find out. I should have had this up, but I didn't. It looks like it is available from, yes, available from the normal VOD sites. Amazon and Apple TV are the two listed here at a reasonable rental price. No tariffs yet. This is the kind of movie that definitely need to hit with high tariffs to protect Hollywood, because the kids are just flocking to the Bruno Dumont movies.
And where's America's Bruno Dumont? We don't have one because this Bruno's stolen it all.
We don't even have a Bruno Dumont, and it's really hurting the Marvel franchise.
Oh man.
You can get this cheap ersatz sci-fi from Bruno Dumont, and what reason is there for anybody to pay to go see Ant-Man?
Exactly.
But yeah, so Giles, have you seen a Bruno Dumont movie?
I think I somehow haven't yet, but I do understand. I remember reading up on your remarks on these films, and last time we discussed the two small human figures on this Blu-ray cover, I understand, are recurring characters for this guy.
They are recurring characters, and they seem to have a smaller role in this one. It's Commandant van der Weyden, I believe, and his sidekick Charpentier, and they are sort of a classic, maybe a Quixote Sancho Panza type teaming, or a absent-minded professor and idiot sidekick. They investigate all these paranormal goings on in this small part of northern France, I
Mm.
believe. And there's always something strange happening there involving aliens. This time it looks like there's a big alien conflict. And I think that they are on the periphery of that, but we'll have to watch to see for sure. The supplied, the quote, pull quote that Kino Lorber has decided to supply to promote the story is beautifully crafted and certifiably insane, says the Hollywood Reporter. So we do like the certifiably insane movies.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so there is one last still. Giles laughs when he sees this because
Oh,
he's
it's
seen this before, but
I have, and
may you simply describe this image without.
all right. We got a green light tone here, so this is, between nice lit green to black, so a green and black image here. There is a woman, I'm going to say, in her mid to late 30s, leaning comfortably in an embrace with a mass of undefined musculature, I think. Could be instead, or perhaps a combination of both. In either case, the thing she is embracing is got a very feeling of being alive and certainly covered with goo, which has started to spread over her forehead and hair and face in general as she clings to this nebulous organism.
Yeah. Well, you have seen it, so I'll comment. I don't know if this is correct. It looks like it might have a sort of a trunk, and she's grasping it by what I think might be a head, and then the trunk part sticking out. But I could be wrong. I'm just going.
You may be right. There are I recall a number of interludes with a um, an entity that is never quite clarified.
Hmm.
So
We
uh,
certainly have a good, reasonably good view of this monster, although you can only see uh, part of it. But it's
yeah.
not like they're keeping it off screen. I mean, they might.
No, that's yeah. You see, yeah. You often well, no, you see it enough, but it is so vaguely formed that it's
Hmm.
prone to it's very cryptic.
And the name of the movie is.
Cryptic, but with a K at the
But
front.
with a K. So this is a horror. Is it a horror film?
Yeah, among other things. I think, yeah, I have a smaller review from when I saw it at Fantasia last summer and open up with sliding in with a reverse Aguirre, sprinklings of Don't Look Now, and landing, so to speak, on the meshes of the afternoon. So
Sounds
a lot
great.
of yeah, it was very interesting, and I go on by the end of my remarks on it, I've convinced myself that another 366 reviewer should give it a look to see if it's something to consider.
The trailer, I got a sense that there was. It seemed like start out like a comedy almost, and then
Yeah, the Wilderness Guide.
at least
That
there's
just
some significant comic relief.
Oh yeah, it is yeah totally very well balanced there, but yeah, it's many grounded moments, but those are amongst very unclear developments as well.
So it's cryptic. It's Canadian. It is in theaters somewhere, but I can't tell where. Excuse me. You're more likely to find it on VOD, which I am informed by multiple sources, including the promoter itself, is coming on presumably, I believe, tomorrow, which is today as you're watching this. However, as we're recording this, it's not up yet. So I'm hoping to get it, you know, I'll be right there at midnight hoping to grab that link so I can link it on the blog
Mhm.
post for everyone. That's Cryptic, and someone else will take a second look at it after Giles's recommendation.
Sounds like a good plan.
Okay. And so that's that. And we are done. Since we have a little bit of time to fill, I'm going to just talk a little bit about a movie that I just saw and just reviewed, that you should probably go out and catch in theaters if you can, which is David Cronenberg's The Shrouds. Not getting quite as much buzz as maybe you might expect for a David Cronenberg movie, but we are the type of people who are into that. It is not, I think it's a lot like, tonally like his just previous movie, Crimes of the Future. They are similar enough to, Cronenberg in his glory days of the 80s and 90s and even into the early 2000s, that you'll recognize it as Cronenberg. But it's changed a lot. The style is a lot slower and sparer. And in each movie, there's a conspiracy, but sort of unlike the ones, and I mentioned The Brood and Videodrome, it's not something it's really left at the end in both these movies up to the viewer to describe what's happened. More explicitly in this one, where he sort of gives you, alternatives to explain what might really be going on, who the culprit behind the weird happenings might be. Obviously a very personal movie. The Vincent Cassel seems to be a clear stand-in for the director himself. He looks like him. He has similar gray hair, done in a similar style, probably buffer than Cronenberg, but he's clearly a movie star stand-in, and he has lost his wife about 8 years ago, which is about the same time that Cronenberg has lost his wife. I would not say it's very therapeutic, though, because Cronenberg gets quite dark with what this character does with his obsession with his dead wife. And there are some quite disturbing concepts and some quite disturbing moments in it. It is not body horror like in terms of, you see mutated things and so forth, but it is body horror kind of like Crash, where you have mutilations and mutilations juxtaposed with eroticism. Not one of his better movies, I wouldn't say not one of his best movies, but I don't think really there are any really bad Cronenberg movies that I can think of. So I think it's something that people will want to check out if they can. I guess it doesn't have to be, it's not necessarily a big screen movie. Most movies are better on the big screen. You'll probably do just fine with it on VOD or, save some money. But I do recommend you check it out just to be a Cronenberg completionist, which I think we all should be as much of a Cronenberg completionist as we can be. So there we go. Anything to add, Giles?
No, that sounds like compelling enough for a Cronenberg completionist. I will admit now that I have a fair amount of his back catalog to catch up with before I can get too close. I've effectively seen, I think I've probably seen about half of his movies, the most famous of them, Crash. I saw it was one of the first Cronenberg movies I saw, along with Naked Lunch, and of course those are very different experiences from each other while being of the same kind of tone.
And Naked Lunch kind of stands alone in his oeuvre. There's not really much that's quite like Naked Lunch that he's done, but the other stuff all has commonalities. I mean, he does make little creatures for Naked Lunch that are quite Cronenbergy.
Oh, yes.
But I think the general sort of tone is not what we normally associate with Cronenberg. But there you go. Anything else non-Cronenberg related, Giles?
No, nothing immediately. There are, of course, exciting things happening in a few months, but we'll be covering that ad nauseum, I'm sure, as it lurches closer.
All right. Well, as we say, next week we're going to talk mainly about Reanimator with Alex Kittle, and that'll be Giles's first time to meet Alex. So
Yeah, I'm looking forward
Alex,
to that.
of course, has gone on to local fame in Boston as working with the Brattle Theater and putting on a series of screenings, a number of different screenings, but one of her series is Strictly Prohibited, a sort of feminist movie screening series. So we'll talk to her about all the stuff she's doing. And she's also a projectionist, which is something we've never talked about.
Just to get the technical side of that, it would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
that's that. See you next week, everybody. We're out of here early. Won't waste any more of your time. Talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Weird. Yeah, I guess that is the word for it. Weird.